Hello my friends, and as you know I do Taroscopes like on the shift between the signs. So 23rd it's marking from Leo to Virgo. So before I start for all the signs, I just want to wish Virgos happy birthdays and also give you a really quick intro of what's going to consist in this. Just quickly before I start, I really want to thank to everybody for your patience last month. My dad is still at a hospital. He is going to be released this week, which most likely is going to be even more work for me. And so I really ask for your patience this month as well. It looks like next month I should have the new schedule packed down, so it's going to be easier. So without further ado, let me tell you how the reading is going to happen this month. I'm going to do pretty much what I did the last time, last month, but with a twist. We're going to start with a high-level messages from the top down, how the karma is looking at it, what is basically a big picture for you, what are the big messages. This is really important. This is like really teaching you how to fish instead of just giving you the fish. Then I am actually going to move into the tarot part of the reading. So we are going to do the double Celtic cross with the Rain Virtue cards and with my special cat cards. And we're going to see certainly spiritual kind of messages and kind of like what's going around, etc. That's kind of like level down from the top of the mountain. Then we are going to go even lower and we're going to get a little bit of a general reading to see what is happening. And Lenormand is really good tool to kind of like even give timelines. And then we are going to go down and dirty. We are going to use Gypsy and we're going to feel and see all these people around us. And this time I'm going to add a twist and to kind of like really culminate this. At some point in this reading, and I'm not going to tell you when, I'm going to include a question that you can ask yourself. So literally you can pause and ask yourself a question and I'll give you the answer and you'll be able to choose one of the three options, so that way you would really know that answer is catered for you. So there you go. It's a little bit of interactivity. So let me start. Hi Saggies, and welcome to your September. So let's see what is in store for you. I actually had to really work on Safi kind of like moving away her furry butt from the table. So it's some kind of a good 3 minutes of cat petting and her saying how much she loves Saggies. I'm going to clip it at the end of the reading, so those of you who want to watch it, just like stay until the end. And those of you who don't, kind of like skip it, okay? Anyway, Safi loves you. So let's go. Let's see what we have. It's kind of like really interesting combination, I have to say. We have comparison. We have totality. There are two fives. 5 is unstable. 5 means getting out of status quo. And then we have integration. Here we have wind and activation, lake and stillness, and tsunami, wake-up call. So let's start with this comparison, right? What do we have here? Like we have the bamboo and we have the oak. So what basically can we draw from here? Because this is basically a card that belongs to thought category. So is the oak wishing that he has a hollow trunk like a bamboo? Or is the bamboo jealous of the oak because oak is bigger and leaves are changing in the fall? So does the bamboo bother because the oak is more valuable, or does the oak bother because bamboo is more beautiful? I guess the stories here are that these two trees comparison is just simply silly, right? And sometimes, let's face it, there's always something and somebody who is more beautiful or more talented or somebody who's stronger, more intelligent, happier, has a better backyard, keeping up with the Joneses, etc., right? So, but also, at the same time, there will always be those who are less than you in all these ways. So, the way to find out who you are is not by comparing yourself with others, but rather to seeking inside and fulfilling your own potential in the best way you know how. I just love it because, like, this is, as I told you, like, I'm in card of trying to find a completely new path, a new balance. And then you're coming into totality. And I don't know if you can see here. We see here 3 women. They're high in the air. They're kind of playful. They're free. But they also be alert, and they also have to be very interdependent. This is an action card. You can see all this red color, right? So in a trapeze act, nobody can be absent, not even for a split second. So it is the quality of total attentiveness to the moment that is represented, right? So sometimes we feel that maybe we have too many things at once, and maybe we get bogged down in trying to do a bit here and a bit there, instead of kind of focusing on one thing. This is one of those things, like, how do you study in high school? Do you go one subject after another, or do you just go and finish one? Just like keep remembering that sometimes, yeah, certain tasks are boring, because we are sometimes forgetting that it's not what we do, but how do we do it that really matters, right? So this is kind of like talking about developing the knack of being total in responding to whatever comes. As it comes, it's possibly one of the best gifts that you can give to yourself. And I think this is really appealing to your adventurous nature, Saggies. So taking one step through life at a time and giving it a complete attention. This is like what they call it, being in the now, right? Complete attention, complete energy, and bring a kind of like new vitality and creativity to everything you do. I think this is really important, especially because we are going to come later to this card of activation. So now this is saying that if in this moment you resort to judgment and you try to compare things, don't. Just enjoy the moment. Because guess what? The last of the 3 cards over here is integration. And guess what? 14 is you guys. It's the Temperance card. You are becoming you. You are learning this process from thinking to doing to integrating. So look at this. The image of integration is the fusion of kind of like opposites, as you see, right? It's obviously, as we can see here, communication between dualities of life and between interdependencies of life. So sometimes, like, we have to understand that night is opposing the day, right? As we can see over here, right? Dark is suppressing the light, but they still work together to kind of form one process that we accept. Then you have the ego and the Swan over here, right? They're both kind of like birds of light, right? They're also very majestic. However, the ego is the embodiment of power, and the Swan is the embodiment of purity. So we cannot again compare here either, because each of them has its uniqueness to the extreme. Goes back to this totality, guys. Let's embrace each and every moment, because the moment is important. So what is this card talking about? The yin and yang, and encompassing, and a snake biting its tail. We are basically the union of that ego and Swan. We are union of male and female, fire and water, life and death. When this card of integration comes out, it is basically something of a mystical union. Sometimes this card talks about alchemy, right? Keep remembering that, like, these changes always happen in us, that we have to strive for moderation. So in the morning you can wake up in a really good mood, kind of like very beautiful, very cheery, but in the evening you can be cranky, even angry, and kind of being indifferent. And at that moment you're not going to remember how loving and great you were in the morning. So when one person becomes 2 people, right? This is kind of like where things happen. like you have to kind of bridge these two opposites. And this is basically talking about the meeting of the opposites into this yin and yang picture, right? And this is really, really important, because that small bridge between this kind of like conflicts always exists. These are two parts of the mind. So make sure that you kind of like reconcile. This is your card. If you're alchemist, guys, that means you can make things happen. That means you really can convert universe to your wishes. Means that you can create the right time and the right place with the right person, but only if you drop judgments and comparisons, and only if you enjoy each and every moment with each and every person. So this is bringing us to this earth magic cards, and like I draw them first, and I was looking at them and thinking, okay, how will I present them? Because they kind of like looked similar when you look at it, but yet very different. So this is when I drew these 3 Zen cards to see really where it goes, and then when I saw integration, it was I get it. So wind moves the air to kind of circulate the atmosphere, right? And it keeps it from becoming stagnant. So when there's no movement, the atmosphere feels possibly heavier. So we have anything from gentle breezes to really Texas hurricanes or tornadoes right now, and I really wish all the best for the people who are going through that. So no matter what the degree of intensity here, wind will activate us. In this image, we kind of like see this, I guess, the breath of the god, a wind kind of like that stirs the kind of like sea, I would say, and kind of like rearranging the sky. And it's kind of shift that is really occurring. So I would say that the whole process of this month is starting for you, Sagittarius, through some kind of lethargy. So maybe you're feeling something as a result of lack of activation. You maybe need something that is going to tantalize your senses. Maybe you resorted to comparisons. Maybe you resorted to buying expensive stuff because you kind of like maybe want to show off. But you also start being kind of empty. Shove your bag for Sagittarius, right? So this is again talking about finding pleasure. You love selfies? Taking pleasures in very small things, even if that is like just taking a bath to release the tension and stress, or listening to music that can activate your hearing. And when you listen to the music you like, you're actually activating pleasure centers in your brain. If you are like looking at the art, that can actually activate emotional responses. Not to mention the touch of another human being that can activate the deep need to be physically held in some sort. It can be a friendly hug, it can be a mother-daughter hug, it can be father-son hug. Whatever it is something that can move you. So this is saying it's a time for action, and kind of it's good to engage in some activity and be present. This is asking for your physical body to be alive and be as present as possible. This is very, very kind of like similar to this card. And yet, it's asking for this integration. You see the sea and the skies. Everything is placed in motion, just like in this card. So, then the stillness card here. We see here the lake. And it's kind of like, whenever I see this card, I just cannot not think about that movie, The Notebook, and the infamous Swan scene. So, if you didn't see the movie, I highly, highly recommend. If you're a guy, it's a great chick pickup movie. If you're a woman, yeah, this is something that we always kind of like wanted to have, that kind of a guy. It's talking about this like deep internal stillness and a time that we really, really connect with the nature. So this is talking about kind of quieting down. Even though you need to be activated, I think don't go overboard, right? Because this is saying that maybe you have been immersed too much in technological kind of whirlpool, maybe kind of like feel almost like a prisoner of your work, of your homework, of your task at home. Just be very careful of hurry up kind of syndrome, right? There is a need to kind of like feel trapped in awareness. And no matter what kind of noise you feel coming from the side, people telling you what to do, you have to find your own world. I would say this is really good. You guys are really outdoorsy. Go and find a lake and just enjoy it, respect it. You're a fire sign. It is very difficult for you to connect to such a huge body of water. But if you do, you're like reaching this integration, because it's really everything. Feeling this kind of like enormous power of this water that will not be moved no matter what you do to it. It takes enormous force to kind of do it. And then I think when you're finally ready, this is going to knock on your door. Wake up call. Tsunami is very scary, right? It's kind of like one of more destructive of natural phenomena, including volcanoes, earthquakes, hurricanes, and tornadoes, right? It's right up there. This is triggered by, I think, the undersea earthquake or something, right? Or possibly underwater volcanic eruption. And then it creates these powerful waves, and they travel across the oceans, and I think they go up to 500 miles per hour. You don't want to be caught. So these waves that I think collectively are called tsunami, as they come closer to the shoreline, their height increases enormously. And however, their speed slows down to, I don't know, 50 miles per hour. But the distance between the waves that are kind of collapsing, right, can be kind of considerable. They might be taking almost half an hour from wave to wave. So the receding of this kind of distance is a clear sign of impeding tsunami. And that's when we have to really, really run and try to outrun the wave that follows. So this is your wake-up call. With tsunami, you cannot be asleep. You cannot shut down that alarm clock. You have to get moving, right? This can be in a different form. It can be a significant loss, or it can be some possible other dramatic event in your life. Possibly a type of event that maybe you were not prepared for. It is something that is going to shock you. It is something that might come in waves, that after the first shock you think it's over, but it's not, and it's not, and it's not. Also, you will know this is kind of a time to draw back the curtain and to kind of like say, well, that's the end of avoidance and denial, and confront the truth. Whatever that event was, you're going to look at this event differently this time around. And you have been prepared for it because you have activated a part of yourself that was sleeping. You kind of like lived in the moment with this totality. You're looking at things differently, not anymore on the outside by comparison, but rather from the inside and integration. So you probably already see the signs of this happening. So ask yourself, what is it I see? What is it I notice, but I decide to kind of like put it on a back burner? Because if this tsunami is approaching, to negotiate this wake-up call, I would say listen closely to your instincts, while at the same time seek the higher ground. Just like you are like trying to like escape from tsunami, like this time you are seeking a spiritual truth. You guys are really kind of connecting these puzzles of different aspects of you together. So this is really great. So now we are going to go to tarot part of the reading, and I'm going to click back in a second. Alright, so let's see what's going to be happening this month. So, what is the bottom of the deck? Here. Reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life or trying to return. So this is kind of interesting, giving these kind of like foreground that we did over here. So let's see what the rest is going to say. Huh, Queen of Wands. Guys, this could be you. Or it could be somebody who's kind of go, 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 kind of like activity person, who is a gradator, who kind of like knows how to dress well. Somebody you would really like to, spend time with. Huh. Interesting. We are going from reconciliation to unrequited love to forgiving and learning. Let your friends help you. New love. It's in the past. And that was unrequited. Oh. Engagement. Religious factors. Keep an open mind. Stay optimistic about your love life. And soulmate. I think this is really actually lovely. Okay, so let's see. Am I missing something? 4, 5. One more, I think, no? Yeah. Yep, one more. I almost shortened you on one. Oh, this could be the one. There we go. That's better. So what do we have? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 wands. So this is going back to this integration, guys. You're kind of like coming back to your element. And we also have a karma card here. 1, 2, 3 major arcana. So it's kind of going to be a very important thing. So let's go from the things that happened in the past, kind of like set the stage for this reading. So new love, a new person kind of like possibly entered your life. It says a new person has stirred your romantic feelings, but the timing was not right. Ace of Wands reversed, it means it didn't sprout up. It was like not enough foundation to build it on, or maybe there was a prevention, something else was still going on. The world reversed is not a great place to be. It's actually really tumultuous. It's kind of when you don't want to let go of something that you have to let go. You know, when you keep it on this teddy bear that is like so worn out and full of bacteria and you really, really want it, but it's really not good for you. This is what happened. It was like obviously very intense, but also it looks like that maybe it was partially you who couldn't make up your mind what to do about the situation. This is in some decks called luxury, this card, because this person has so much and they decided to kind of like really sleep and not to acknowledge all these kind of offers, because look, one is being served slowly but surely. Or this could also be reconsidering things that have happened as well, because 4s are definitely foundations. And here, what is in the root of the reading? Let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. So we are here talking about a healing, the stars. Stars is integration. Stars is like, obviously looks like maybe this really hit you. The world is something that you thought you're going to conquer with ease, but you didn't. I think what happened here was this totality. There was like no interdependence. Whenever the Swan comes over, this is like talking about these two cards, Ace of Wands or the Temperance, the integration card. Something couldn't be integrated. This new love was not able to be integrated. And it did hit you quite a bit. It did hit you. You're trying to kind of like see what's going on. This also could be a hopeful card. This is a really good card to get because it's the card of inner strength. This is a card of inner kindness. Remember how basically you're getting activated. You are supposed to kind of like have this. So ask your friends to be there for you. It is actually really important to kind of have this communication integration. It was something about your domestic life that you're trying to heal. Like 10 of Pentacles reverse definitely talks about something is trouble. There's a trouble at home. However, somebody needs to feel victorious. Six of Wands definitely talks about a position. Look at that. Everybody's looking at this little kitty, and the kitty is getting away with basically the prey. So I won. So yeah, for the moment, everybody's looking at the winner. This is not a situation where everybody else feels like a loser. Actually, quite the opposite. This is a really good situation, unless it is in a relationship. In a relationship, feeling powerful while somebody else suffers is never a good feeling, because here in Ten of Pentacles we actually see life. We see it from the child to mother to father to basically grandparents to home. You see this arch of everything, basically of all these elements being placed together. Kind of like we see this integration of the different. So this is like when you meet a soulmate, and then you see this like red carpet roll down and seeing the future. But this, you're healing because that future did not happen, even though it looks like Sagittarius you won. So it did cost you, and I think this is why you need to rely on your friends. Or it could be that somebody did it to you. It can go both ways, right? Now this card worries me. I never like to see this card in a reading. Seven of Swords. And it's happening with unrequited love. Somebody here really feels wronged. Somebody feels that things were taken under their nose. Somebody feels, we see this duality, like it was the choices were here, and then it was like complete kind of like part of saying, oh, you know what, I'm so fed up, I cannot take this anymore. And by the time that you are awake, things are gone. Maybe you didn't know how to handle the situation. Maybe you wanted the situation to resolve on its own, and by the time it was the time to act, it was too late. You see King of Swords. Somebody, look at this kind of land froze. See? He is standing as a king on this pedestal, and he's holding his sword of fairness. But this is intellectual kind of like prowess. It is reversed. So what happened here? It was a battle of wills over here. Possibly something really, really harsh. Look at this, the butterfly here. Butterflies are freedom, guys. You did not get freed. Were you, and I keep seeing that with your readings, were you in one relationship and hence you couldn't start a new one? Look at this, the Hangman. And it's reversed. And by the way, this is the card of, let's say, God. It is the card where there is a surrender that is taking place. It is like outside doesn't seem to be too much is happening. Just like God is like not sitting and interfering in every situation or any situation. Situation has to resolve on its own. When this is reversed, it's just a little bit faster moving than this one. It's a little bit better than this way. So here's talking about stillness. Here is saying, look, there is really nothing you could have done. This love would just not happen. Because this is saying things have to happen in the right time. This is now the third time in this reading that we are hearing this message. However, when the Hangman reverses, this means the situation is just about to end, because the kitty is maybe still, but the kitty is thinking about the next steps to take. So this is kind of like that activation. Remember? You are clicking in. So it's very much kind of like dynamic situation. And look, maybe somebody really wronged you, or you have been very wronged. But certainly there was lots of harshness over here. And literally, overnight, there was a cut and a standstill and lots of thinking. And you felt you're on the receiving end of a bad karma. This is one of my karma cards. And it says forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, You experience more love in your present moments, right? Yeah. This is a decision that somebody made for you. And they left you out in the cold, and you're slowly learning how to get out of it. So this is Two of Swords, guys, for those of you who don't know these kitty cards, and this is Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is sort of like almost like feeling what you were doing was wrong, right? Like Five of Pentacles is being exiled. Like, look, they're passing by the church and they're not entering the church. You have to wonder why. What is it at the place that always has to open the doors and home everybody would not be there for these two fellows in the snow? So something really felt frozen. We see this like theme of frozen and theme of snow. Something really didn't work out. So your luck turned against you, Saggies. And it was karmic. It was karmic. You had this God card, you have this Temperance card here, and you have the World card. It was not meant to be. And I think it was about the marriage. I think it was that you were with somebody. Maybe there was a trouble in the paradise. Maybe you were like on a trial separation with your husband, with your wife. And maybe in the meantime you met somebody else. But the sense of loyalty kind of pushed you back. Because this talks about marriage. The Hierophant basically always talks about devotion to the rules, even to the children. These rules are that generally two people agree upon. And you see, you're kind of engaging, because this World card was like your heart really wanting to go in a different direction. And it's like a really bad place to be when you knew you cannot do it. So hence you kind of like ended up in the situation, which could be a big depression. So there you go, Lovers reversed. It's tore you apart. Look at this. Here we have these two cats. You see this yin and yang? We have it here. Here it was integrating, here is disintegrating. But in any case, this is a wish card. Whatever it is, it's going to work out for you. Or at least you are renewing your optimism. It kind of feels you had to follow the rules and you have lost something, but at the same time, you know, there is like this newfound kind of like, I guess, optimism that's going on. Or it can mean that you're still kind of holding some kind of like dear, you have still this very special place for some kind of like love wishes that you have, because like I'm seeing this cups connecting over here. So now we have 2 threes here, which is kind of interesting. One is like about the teamwork and religious factors. So even though this is called religious factors, I consider this like, I mean, very much like this Hierophant. So it's almost like a repeat. So it's almost like this card here is telling me additional message. So it has to be a teamwork. It obviously was the third person. I'm actually pretty certain right now. And however, that third person was left behind. Or you may be involved with somebody with whom you had to refresh the marriage or refresh this relationship and kind of like work it out. You see, this is what I was talking about here. That was like that sense of victory in a relationship, but here is the sense of victory where somebody else is really losing and almost enjoying it. So it could sound that you or the other person did take you back, or you took somebody back with conditions, with big conditions. These big conditions kind of like got into your head. But again, in a relationship, it's really not a good place to win. This is basically the state of mind, and it says keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. And then you have 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands is good. It's kind of looking toward your ships. What does that mean? It means at a time the ships were basically a source of entrepreneurs to put their stuff on and see if they're going to be sold, and that way each time you would make a profit, get richer. So is this going to be a return on your investment? You are still keeping an open mind because maybe there are still expectations that you have somewhere in your head. You don't want to be single, of course. Maybe you're not really ready to go to the next stage, because Nine of Pentacles does talk about quite a few things. It certainly talks about material plane, and it tells me that there is not time to go forward. So this could be maybe the last stage that you're wondering if you want to go back to that situation or you want to go forward. I think threes are the very last stage when you can still pull back, because this is certainly telling me there's an issue with the finance to some level, and now these nines are connecting and we have a third nine. Whatever situation you are guys in, it's very unstable. Like you had two fives. It's requiring your attention and dedication. And by doing that, you're really coming to be yourself. You're kind of integrating yourself properly. And having three nines, something is really finalizing this month. You see, you'll have to be independent. This kind of shows the kitty who is actually really close to reaching the goals, but it's reaching the opposition. So when you're in this situation, you have to really reassess, is your goal worth the fighting? Are you comparing something? And are you really totally in the moment? This is your activation. This is not time for stillness. And this also could be a tsunami moment that we got here earlier. So what is your environment? Stay optimistic about your love life and fight for it. Nine of Wands definitely talks about fighting, going further, even though you have failed many times. You have dusted off yourself many times. Many times you said, I'm not doing this anymore. I cannot take it. I don't want to take it. But you decided you'll take one more step and then see what happens. Somebody is very emotional around you. Somebody might even manipulate you emotionally. And you are maybe coming up with the strategies how to deal with this. This is a great card to get. The Emperor talks about what kind of person you guys want to be. What kind of life you want to build for yourself. You see, it is like having 4 boxes. One goes on top, on another. It's where do you want to go from here? But most importantly, how will you go from there? So you have another 4. See, like you have a 4 and you have 4 and you have 4. So we have lots of 4s as well. We have 5s. It's kind of like, look, 5, 5, 5. This is like really forming, and then you have 9, 9, 9. So 4s are building blocks. It's like the house has 4 corners. Then 5 is like taking you out of status quo, like pushing you out of these rules and feeling that you have to follow the certain things, kind of questioning this. You are kind of guarded to get your soulmate. You kind of like are living possibly illusion that you have everything you need, and you know that you're missing this puzzle, this piece. But this soulmate cannot come. This is almost like your soul. As long as you sit on it, as long as you don't let them in. That's that activation, guys. Look, soulmate is knocking on a door. Soulmate is coming back. Ace of Cups, 8 of Cups reversed. Either you're going back to someone, maybe you're going to decide to open your box and share it. Because look what you have. You'll have a fish, milk, bird, and a butterfly. These are all these goodies that you like, that you treasure really, really closely. But you guys are facing a big dilemma, because in the end, you have kind of like this indecision. This could be the one, but there is like still no communication. Really, here is like still a Knave of Wands. Hi, Jeffy. Knave of Wands is getting impassioned, like losing patience over something, and not having a passion. Don't want to put a passion in it. It's certainly you, Sagittarius, that's for sure. And then you have the High Priestess. There is like some kind of like veil of secrecy around somebody who really kind of like is having their act together. Somebody really deep, somebody profound. and somebody from the past, guys. So it's kind of interesting how I don't really see that you're with either person right now. I do see that, well, I did see a few horoscope signs. So what did I see? I did see Taurus. I did see Gemini. I saw Scorpio. You have Aquarius. Scorpio is coming out the loudest, I have to admit to you that, you know, it's kind of really interesting that you possibly have, you're dealing with emotions that you have to reconcile inside of you. And this is why this is asking you both to recognize when it's time to be still and when it's time to be activated. But it looks like that something might happen to you that's going to challenge you who you are, because it looks like you're still sitting in between the two kind of like ends, not knowing the really true direction to go. And obviously now we know why you had this card comparison. There are two people you're comparing, guys, or you are one of these two people that are being compared, and indecision is difficult. Let me see, what is this reconciliation? It's not going to happen. Look, soulmate. If there is somebody, guys, who basically was really important to you, but you actually decided to kind of go deep inside, the hermit, and kind of like look for a different solution, or even be alone. This is again yet number 9 and number 4. So this is avoidance of the problems. Again, go one step at a time. Remember how that basically was said? One step at a time. So we are going to look now, Lenormand, we are going to look at Gypsy spread. But before I go there, I'm going to do this like one question that you guys just ask yourself. One question. And I have pulled 2 cards already, and I'm going to pull a 3rd card. And you're going to pick up which ones which category, one category for you, and that's going to give you the answer to your question. It's okay. Saggies, question for September. Okay, so this is not right. You see the answer. Okay, Saggies. Let me hide it. I have to hide it. Questions for September. Answer to the questions. Answer to the question. Okay, I have it here. And I have it here, and I have it here. So which door is it going to be, Saggies? Door 1, door 2, or door 3? Pick it. Okay. Door 1. You have Queen of Swords and 9 of Wands. We had 9 of Wands in the readings there. There was a breakup, and you're still willing to fight for that person. That's what I told you. There is some kind of strategy that is needed. You're willing to go just this extra step. So this basically is dedication to, okay, I don't want to lose it. Door number 2. See Tom. Are you guys looking and asking for romance? Because it might just happen. See Tom, look at this, the kitty that is rolling back and forth. That is the happiness, and it is some kind of love offer. And lastly, here we have a bundle. We have Ace of Swords, Karma card. We have the Moon. We have Knight of Swords. We have Knave of Cups, which is this card, but it's reversed. We have 2 Wands, and we have 6 of Cups. So what's happening here? Something is coming strong and hard. It's maybe cutting something off, because it's creating a whole bunch of illusions for you. You're spending too much time dwelling on it, and whenever you fall into it, you're going to decide to cut it off. So it's going to be really difficult for you, because there was something that was really dear to you, maybe even somebody you knew for quite a long time. You're not giving up on this entirely. This idea is not completely moot point, but this idea is still in a thinking process. This is still kind of like going between these two extremes, realizing that you still have to hold on to the old before you get into the new. So guys, I'm going to click in a few seconds when I put all 32 Lenormand cards, Grand Tableau. This is kind of going to give us the general reading and general opinion of what's going to happen in September. Alright guys, this is Lenormand. It is a little bit different. Well, it's quite different from Tarot. Tarot is more spiritual. Lenormand is more down to earth, kind of giving me a blueprint. I like this Grand Tableau. I know it's kind of really all-encompassing, and Gypsy Spread is also kind of difficult, but I'm going to do full 52 cards next. So here we have a couple of significators, gentleman, the gentleman and the lady being the two most significant ones. There are others that can represent people, like the fish, like the garden, the child, right? And the lilies. So I'm going to give you a few storylines. It could be that one is you, one is your personal interest, and shouldn't you really don't pay attention to the gender assigned to them, right? So now this is really interesting that these two significators are standing next to each other. There is nothing in between two of them. There is nothing going on right now. And look, it was a karmic connection that looks like you guys are still thinking about each other. Your person of interest is very, very dedicated to the career right now and to money making. And you see, it was something in the past, this kind of commitment. It could be even a long-term relationships that maybe there was something that was even discussed moving in. And even possible wedding, because look here, you had a garden, the heart, the ring, the anchor, right? Somebody from the past, and that probably stemmed all the way back to the winter, November, December over here, but it got cut off. It ran into the mountain, and then after the issues you guys had, it just died. It died. It couldn't be like brought back. It was a karmic relationship, guys. Karmic relationships are never happy. Karmic relationships put us back on our path, because look, these two cards are not meeting in any card other than in a coffin and in a book. And one is the end of it, and one is like the secrets. See, book opens up on this side, so person on this side, people from the outside will see the truth better, but these two people are completely kind of like looking in different directions as well. So there's going to be a new start here. I see the moon and the rider and the stars, the moon and the stars, and even the sun. So it's kind of like there is like still that things are still going on. That's what I said. Even though it looks like it's a very standstill, remember this tree, this kind of like things growing under the tree, and it's something new. They see the child that's kind of connected to your karma. It's not, it could be a child, but it could be something that has been going on for about 9 months, and then it has to come out, or at the very least 9 months, and it's coming out finally. And this time it's going to be right timing. It's going to happen in a couple of months if it happens. It is a possibility. The rider number 1, it's a possibility, and it is something, again, karmically, if these issues are resolved. And some issues could be a matter of governments. This could be your marriage, this could be your divorce, this could be like also reputation. This could be kind of like working for the government. This could definitely mean a completely new start and completely new direction, and keeping things proper and out in the open and not hiding it anymore. This is the key over here. Like right now, there are lots of things that happened in the past, lots of beautiful things, and I think this was the worst thing that happened. Look, for this one partner, it was the birds and the stork. Like this person really wanted this. But then there was the snake and the mice. kind of like things got cut down in such a weird way that nobody expected, that things kind of didn't work out. This mountain was not surmounted, and things died. It was somebody you guys knew for a long time. So it was karmic, Saggies. And looks like this is now explaining to me better what I've seen in tarot. That yes, there is the presence of this partner. You're still with a partner, but you kind of like feel like a winner. Could be some of you feel financially more better off than the other person, or could feel that you're healthier than the other person, or you're staying because of the interest of your kids in the situation. If that's the case, then you're still keeping things in secrets, and that's why there is like maybe possible the relationship of convenience, if that's the case. So next is going to be Gypsy spread, where we're going to see even a little bit more nuances, because we have actually more people there that we can actually understand what's going on. So give me a few seconds to put the cards. And voila, down. Grand Tableau, Gypsy spread. This is like really awesome. So guys, let me just show you the significators over here. We have actually quite a few. First of all, there is like sweetheart. Any of them can be you. Actually, more than one can be you, because I'm going to give you quite a few different storylines here. There is a wife that can be obviously for the people who are in a relationship, or people who have children, but it also can be anybody. It doesn't have to mean that. Then there is the Lord, which can talk about either a married guy or somebody who is a little bit more professional. Then we have Lover, who is a single guy or a single woman, kind of like on a prowl. Then we have young woman, who basically can be a younger lady, or it can also be a daughter or a son as well. And then we have sort of different characters here. We have a friend. Then we have, where is he, the foe here, and the enemy here. Let me just pull this way so you can see it. See, the enemy is over here. So this can also represent us as well, because we can be our own worst enemies. So the last two cards are cheerfulness and consolation. And this is basically, again, you're coming back to being who you are. You have really, I could see 2 or 3 different streams coming from all the sides. It's asking for you to keep an eye on the ball. It is like really, really self-evident. And looks like the 2 people you're considering are very, very different, and hence are not comparable. And this is possibly what is making this entire process really, really difficult. And that's the way it should be. It should be kind of like a different flavor in it when you're like choosing in love. It's not choosing somebody who can do better or more for you. It's really choosing from deep inside. So let me tell you what I see. For some of you, you're spending lots of thinking and lots of conversations that keep circulating, as I call it, wash machine brain, over and over and over and over again, about the lack of loyalty. You had been cheated on, but the thief is already out of the picture. It's somebody who maybe even came to your home and you felt like stole your life, stole your home. It meant nothing to them. You see, here we have this like foe and enemy and a child, something left in the past, and you are very, very sorry about that. And it looks like here is that connection that I see. It's really not gelling. You see, certain things are kind of buried. Maybe the breakup did happen, or even maybe divorce. But you're not able to let it go. This is the same situation we saw in this kind of world card reversed. Now, the interesting part here is that this Lord here has a reunion, and at the same time, He has prison reversed, which is getting out of jail card or getting out of marriage card. However, he has misfortune here. And he has joyfulness. So this is this fire and water continuously we are having here. He lost the ability to be consistent. There is no constancy. You see, there is a loss of hope, because obviously there is like somebody else for him with whom there are these secrets, and that kind of maybe she feels, or he feels, or whoever. This was a false love. It kind of like didn't have foundations in the end. It was something surprising, came and go, but something that caused enormous pain and misfortune. Yes, joy as well. But if it's to continue, it has to be really redefined. It looks to me, look at that. This person here is definitely seeing you as a cheater, so you cannot win. See, this is maybe what's happening. There is one relationship in your life. It could be that male Sagittarius cheated here. That's honestly how it seems. Or it could be female Sagittarius as well. But I'm more tending to see male Sagittarius over here. And hence, you see, they kind of like wanting to reunite with somebody else. That somebody else was somebody from a distance. I would say even long distance. Who really, you see, there is that connection. That's the issue. There is like still a connection. That's what the world card represents. That the world moved on, you just didn't move on. So it's kind of like a really difficult situation to be in. There's like still a memory of intimacy and kind of like no hope. And there are two partners that are really depressed. He, however, is really optimistic about this. Or this person over here is optimistic about getting together and possibly going all the way with this person. Well, this person is saying, well, you know what? I don't know. Even if there is something new with you this time around, I still think you're a cheater. And this person is not going to do it. Look at this death here at the end of the road. So this story unfortunately doesn't finish really well. And then we have the single guy who just moved away from some kind of issues. So this guy or a woman, somebody who's single, is actually going to do well. They kind of have a focus toward this wedding and toward this new beginning. They're not ready yet, but they're kind of like taking this kind of like, you see, frivolity or lightness. This butterfly here is representing this interdependence, lifting up, feeling free, right? It's kind of like going to this wind that is like this, what we have over here. You are activating, but you have to keep in you have to keep constrained, one small step at a time, and keep thinking through that, right? Because I guess we keep seeing this misfortune and tsunami, and here's fortune reversed. Next to all characters here, guys, there are secrets everywhere. Like, this has to be cleared. That's what is this telling me. And you have to activate, and you have to integrate what is really that you need and what is really that you want. Kind of like clarity has to be reached for the sake of everybody. Alright, Saggies, I have actually pulled one more card here to seal this reading, and I really hope it's going to give us this sight of what happens after this tsunami. And this is what I got. Wizard of Awareness. And this is what it says. Your soul knows best. Be still and observe. Mindfulness is about being observant and remaining neutral about what goes on in the world around you. This applies to the environment within you too. If you struggle inside yourself, stepping into observer position gives you a new, powerful perspective that neutralizes any discomfort or overexcitement. You have the capacity to see things clearly now, unencumbered by opinion or desire. Wearing the world as a loose garment requires you to adopt the sense that nothing that happens to you is personal. People come and go. Experiences evolve from one state to another in a continual shifting and change no matter how much you want things to stay the same. The Wizard of Awareness asks you to give up your need to define or limit what you're experiencing now. It's all good. Let it be and watch the miracle unfold without any direct influence from you. So, Sagittarius, what it means to me is, look at this is another 3. Kind of like this is the potential of action. It's asking you to be alchemist. This is calling for you to become whole. It sounds to me that you have been functioning. You have been functioning by the blocks that are defined by the society. And these blocks are now chipped and the glass is broken. And like there is like not enough to rely upon. So you have to find out with some solution. And you are going to come to that solution through the stillness. Kind of go deep inside. Kind of check out. Kind of go deep and think about it. What is it you need to do? You shouldn't be thinking about it how to make everybody happy. Nor should you think about it how to make yourself happy. You literally have to connect. And when you get this wake-up call, it is something that you already know. Then you will be able to do knee-jerk reaction in a very good way. So you don't become argumentative, you don't kind of like have kickback or something like that. You just simply, you're doing a good thing one after another, because something will be coming to you in waves. It is asking of you to deal with this without judgment, without pointing fingers, with kind of understanding that maybe what you're observing is also a part of you, or it's a part that you sent out prior to the world, and now the other people are showing you, mirroring to you what you have sent out. So be understanding of this, because maybe this is now the time to wrap up these loose ends and to reactivate, guys, and to go to the next level. So I would be very interested in hearing your comments. This is kind of interesting because it's going to be tumultuous, but also it's going to be great and very rewarding. So I would like to know, what is your experience with this? How did you activate? Or if you want to share your own tsunami. You know that I love you, and your bi-weeklies are coming up soon on the 1st. Those are more pragmatic. This is like a really high level message for the entire month. Take it or leave it. And when I come with the bi-weeklies, is dirty, kind of like do this, do this, do this, kind of like, and quick kind of like information. So Sagittarius, I wish you all the best this month. I love to see your comments. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I like comments and thumbs up. And also for those of you who want to see Safi and how much she really wanted to flirt with me before I start reading with you, just like stay tuned. Thank you very much. And guys, for private reading, please contact me on my website. Love you, Sagittarius. Have a great month. Hi, Sagittarius. You didn't expect that you're going to have some furry bum right in your face, right? But Safi decided that she doesn't want to move from the table. Come on, Safi, show your face. Just showing your bum. It's not fun. Say hi to Sagittarius. Say hi to Sagittarius. Say hi to Sagittarius. You love Sagittarius, right? You do, a lot. A lot. Extra lot? That's good. Come on, let's do the reading for Sagittarius. Come on, you come here. You come here. You come. Yes? Yes. Yes, pretty. Really? They're going to have a great month? No? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not, you pretty, pretty girl? You pretty girl. You pretty girl. Come on, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Good girl. Okay, so I'm going to I'm going to include this in a break while I'm actually putting the other cards, and you can watch this little nuisance. As you can see, she actually loves to be petted. Loves, right, Shabby? Right, Shabby? Right, Shabby, Shabby? You are my favorite pretty girl. Come on, let me read for Sagittarius, okay? Let me read. Come here. Come here. Come here, baby girl. Come here. Good girl. Good girl. Yes. You're good girl. You're good girl. Do you wanna? Here, come on. Say something. Say something in the microphone for Sagis. Say something. Say something. What's that? I'm going to break the camera. Come, Shabby, Shabby, Shabby. Come, Shabby, Shabby, Shabby. Say something. Okay. Are Sagis the prettiest? The most passionate ones? Adventurous? Do you love a Sagi? Really? Matrix is going to be jealous. Matrix is a little Scorpio. Yeah. Hi, Furball. Hi, Furball. My gosh, you really extra love Sagis. Is this reading Safi approved? Huh, Saf? We're going to visit me again. Yes. There you go. We are back to showing the furry bum. We are back to that. Okay, guys. I should be ready for the next stage now.